All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Crossing Swords.
Sorry, I'm just adjusting my headphones.
That's absolutely fine. I thought I'd try something different. I thought if after 6 years people aren't aware of who I am, do you know what I mean?
You're the guy who touches himself.
I've got a serious case of the wandering hands, as we know. But just on myself. I just touch myself.
That's what first attracted me to you.
I can believe it. I mean, look, famously, we didn't get along when we first met.
Which is mad. Like when
Considering we've now been doing a podcast together for 6 years.
I think about relationship now.
Yeah.
And how you're one of the people that I know you don't believe this. Listen, the studio's falling apart. We have to
I don't even know what that was.
If you could go on YouTube, see the state that we're in.
Yeah.
And just donate anything that you can.
It'd be greatly appreciated.
Like, listen, if £3 can feed a starving African, think what a fiver can do for us.
I have always wondered whether like Patreon was a good idea. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And actually, it's something I've wanted to talk about for a few weeks, just randomly. Are you aware of Joe Politics?
Yeah.
Do you ever watch them at all? Or,
Sometimes.
Like they were always one of my go-to podcasts, especially because they're like left-leaning and they're a bit like us. They fuck around for a bit and then they get into it. And then they announced maybe like a couple of months ago, we're going to be starting Patreon. And they were like, and all of our video podcasts will go behind a paywall. And I was like, okay, well, depending on how much it costs, I'll watch them a lot. I'll consider it. £8 a month they wanted.
It's quite a lot.
And I was like, because I'm not against the idea of Patreon because I'm a big fan of a podcast called Have a Word. And I paid to be one of their patrons.
Well, like, look, at the end of the day, Patreon is one of the ways that we can make it happen for these people. They can dedicate their time to.
No, look, totally. So I'm not against the premise of it. They're an independent organisation. They need to earn money. They need to, stay independent. That's fine. But I did think
£8 a lot.
£8
That's
a lot.
high.
Because Have a Word, and bear in mind, it's probably the most successful. Behind maybe, what's that food one with James Acaster and...
Oh, and Ed Gamble.
Is it Off Menu?
Off Menu, yeah.
That's probably... That and Rosie and Chris Ramsey are probably in fight for the number one spot, but Have a Word is right behind them. But they charge £3 a month is their base tier.
Well, yeah, and do you know what? And that's the thing. The tiered thing is good. Plus, HLTCO is the only Patreon I subscribe to.
Oh, you're a patron, are you?
Only because, I hardly ever go on Patreon.
Yeah.
But I was just like, look, it's £3
I like him.
a month. And I can help him live his dreams. So I'm happy for that. I like Dan.
And we've always felt he's a very good spokesman for the fan base of Crystal Palace.
I like Dan, so I was always happy to do it. He tried, $3.20, I think, a month. And he also puts out podcasts every day. He puts out a Palace one and a non-Palace one, like a general football one.
Okay.
I think he does a Palace one every day and then a non-football one like twice a week kind of thing. But you're getting a lot for your £3.20.
Yeah.
So even though I will occasionally listen to them.
Yeah.
If I were subscribed, I'd think I'm getting good value for my money.
Well, and also you're then in a
much
position if like something big happens, you can be like, oh, I wonder what Dan thinks, and you've got access to it.
But it doesn't matter how much content Joe Politics is putting out, and I'm sure they're putting out a lot.
They are, and to be fair,
£8 is a lot.
It is a lot of money.
£8 a month will get you an Amazon Prime subscription, which gets you next day delivery. It gets you Kindle, a lot of Kindle stuff. It gets
Amazon
you music, movies, TV shows. Yeah. You're getting a lot for your, not just one group.
And with Have a Word, so for the £3, I get access to, they do a weekly episode that comes out on a Saturday for normal people, and that'll be with a comedian or a guest in. We get access to that we get access to that on a Saturday.
I love this like you're part of the community.
I'm one of the lids. We're known as the lids. We're the lid army. And I've been a patron of theirs for like maybe 5 years now.
Well, I like as well what Jeff Norcott does with his podcast. So he does a thing with Patreon where he'll record like an episode, and then what he'll do is he'll like cut off 2/3 of the way through,
and then the rest goes.
And the rest goes on Patreon.
A lot of people
and he'll
do that.
Yeah.
So, and then I get on a Wednesday, you get what's called a Patreon exclusive, which is where it's just them, no guest. Sometimes they get guests in, but it's like unfiltered. They'll say whatever they want and go mad. And then once a month you get a Patreon special. And that's varied from, they did a trip to Nashville. They went to Amsterdam, where they played the most loud game of boners I've ever heard in the middle
Respect.
of a cheese shop in Amsterdam.
Respect.
And they also did it in one of the famous museums there as well.
The
But yeah,
Rijks,
maybe.
the
maybe.
MoMA, the Van Gogh Museum,
I think it was the Van Gogh Museum.
Heineken Experience.
No, they didn't do that. But yeah, so like you get really good value for money. They then have other tiers where you get like extra bonuses. Like if you pay the £8 a month one, you can send questions in, and your questions will be higher on the
Prioritised,
list than the rest of the people. So that feels fair to me. So, and it's scaled, and they've never put up the prices. But yeah, £8 was.
Eight's high.
They've had a lot of criticism because their tagline at the start of every episode is "Love podcasts, hate nonces." And people have now started commenting, love podcasts, hate paywalls. But they've now reduced it to £6, which I still
That's still
think,
high.
I still
Anything
think
over a fiver is
I
high.
literally, when I was talking to Joe about it, I was like, if it was a £5, I'd have probably done it because I watch it enough that I'm like, I'll get value for that £5.
I think £5 is I would be like, oh, I don't know.
it's on the border.
But $3.99, I'd probably be like,
yeah.
okay.
And I even commented on one of their videos where I was like, it just means I'm going to
Not
engage with
less.
your stuff less and less. Because I'm not going to watch a 15-minute clip. I'd rather watch the full episode. Do you know what I mean?
And I'm watching neither.
And what's really weird is they've not really addressed it at all. Like maybe they have behind Patreon. On the
You just don't know.
But I don't know. But like literally yesterday, for the first time since they've done it, a full episode. No, twice since they've done 2 full episodes on YouTube, but haven't addressed what's going on. So yeah,
It's probably best to, like, if you were the PR advisor, you'd probably say just say nothing.
no, I
Anything
feel
you
like
say is going to get you tongue-tied.
if they had like, if they did a video, they were like, look, these are the financial reasons why we're doing it. We've got these outgoings, we've got this shortfall, we need the income, and this is the level it needs to be at for us to be sustainable, then fair enough. I'm still not going to pay it, but at least you've addressed it.
Yeah, even if they came out with some cockamamie thing about like, oh, if we reach X amount of subscribers, we'll lower it.
Yeah, because like have a word, they have 30,000 Patreons. So even if all of them are paying the £3, which they're not, that means they're making a minimum of 90 grand a month just on Patreon, not including YouTube and sponsorships
Ads and all that stuff, yeah.
So yeah, but yeah,
It's not bad money.
it did make me think like, what would we charge for Patreon?
Just go low, man, like a couple of quid.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
£2-3, and then just say that we get a little, what I would suggest is that we do that thing where we record an episode and then we sort of cut ourselves off around the 1 hour 30 mark.
and the rest goes.
And then we do another 20,
that's what
30 minutes.
Because I always thought in my head I wanted to do it a bit like have a word in the sense of like an extra episode for the Patreons. But actually, no, it's not a bad idea to.
And we
Like-
could even do 2, and this is just pure spitball in here. I'm an ideas
Yeah.
man, you know that.
No,
you know
look,
that
this
about
is
me.
why I asked
I'm an
the
ideas
question.
man.
This is why I
You
asked
could
the
do-
question.
Sort of like once or twice a week on Patreon, you could do 2 15-minute episodes. Little episode 1 where we just do serious stuff, like we talk about the topical stories of the day, whether they're
Yeah.
fun stories or political stories or serious stuff, and then one where we just do silly stuff. We read stuff off the internet
I
to
like
each other.
the idea
And
of like a full-length episode where me and you, where it's behind the paywall, so we're safe, where we can just delve into shit. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I'm not. When you said delve into shit,
I mean, like
Like the Epstein
conspiracies.
files?
Well, look, we need to. I mean, but
Do you
they
know-
don't exist. They don't exist.
yeah, sure.
And America's losing its mind. Like genuinely, like the MAGA supporters just keeping an eye on that. There's a balloon in the room, and I feel like it keeps trying to come into shot.
I mean, I've been like, it's in my peripheral, so I've been eyeballing it the whole episode. No lie.
It's got a beautiful message on it, though.
Yeah. Although it's slightly deflated, so there's a balloon that says "I love you" that's half deflated, meaning that the love's slowly
I
dying.
take that.
Is it a metaphor for a long-term relationship?
No, I see it as it's so full of love, it's fighting to stay up.
Okay, that's nice.
Or you could see it the way you do, which is it's dying, and so's the love. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there are a few kids in.
Before we delve into anything, I followed suit from last week a little bit. You got more than one drink.
Oh, hello.
I was out shopping today, and there was an original version
That
of Iron Brew.
is sexy as fuck.
I know that for people who can't see, Iron Brew.
No
It's in
lie.
glass,
Do you know
which
what?
just-
I better go and hope I've actually hit record.
Do you not remember hitting record? All right, cool. Look,
Can I
this
just
is the
say,
level of professionalism
this
you'd
is
be paying for.
This is the ADHD thing, right? Sometimes in the shower, I will get to what is presumably the end of the shower, and I can't remember washing myself, so I just have to wash myself again. I've been in there 5 minutes, and I can't remember doing it. So I get through a lot of soap anyway. That bottle is sexy as fuck.
It is sexy as fuck. There's one for you.
Thank you,
man.
sir.
Because I'm not
so
a massive
good. I love Iron Brew.
Oh, I'm glad I bought it then. Because I wasn't sure.
No, I'm an Iron Brew fan.
To be fair, when I've asked you what sort of stuff you drink, you have always said, I'll drink anything.
It's true. Much like my sex life, I'm very not picky. Do you know what? I can't say that anymore now I'm in a relationship. It doesn't carry the same weight. It's different.
And it's certainly not a...
it's not a fun, playful thing to say. It's just bullying another woman.
Oh, yeah, it's just not a nice thing to say when you have a lady you're in a relationship with.
It's very different.
No. Because you can't even... Because Emmanuel's like, well, you settled. No, you didn't settle.
No. Do you know what I was about to say as well? And which she gets a little bit... She's like, I knew you were going to say that whenever I say it.
What's that?
Is I did, I'm a peacock, you got to let me fly.
Yeah.
And she's like, I knew you were going to say that.
And it gets on her
nerves. It gets on her nerves. Most things I do.
The thing is, now you've told me that, when I'm next around her, I'm going to find excuses to...
do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Execute Order 66.
Cheers, sir.
Enjoy.
Get them down, yeah. I'm on the brew.
I've got to be honest with you. I have tasted the current Iron Brew recently, and it tastes pretty much the same.
That's a different recipe.
Saying it's the OG recipe. It says a very special vintage, old and unimproved.
There's no way that an OG recipe, particularly from Glasgow, is passing the health standards of today. No disrespect to Glasgow.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of disrespect to Glasgow, but there's no way that something that was made to keep working class people of Glasgow happy 100 years ago.
Well, it says 1901.
Is keeping people happy today. That's just not happening. They're passing the health standards, sorry.
No, I think you're right. It's not bad.
That shit had heroin in for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, Coke had coke in. So.
Yeah. And what do the Glaswegians do?
Coke.
Heroin, the whole lot. To be honest, very little they don't do.
Yeah, I mean, they eat haggis, so they're not picky about what they put in their bodies.
For a city that's so decisively split, they're really quite happy to experience all drugs and crimes.
Maybe it's the people in the middle.
It's the middle class ones.
Well, no, I just meant like the people that aren't in those two camps.
There's very few that aren't.
To be honest, I've never been Glasgow, so I can't speak to that. Yeah,
it's all right. It's quite nice, Glasgow, actually. I always think there's a certain, like, any part of the country, and it's been weird. There's been a real thing about British and English identity and stuff lately that's come up in my world.
There'll be a lovely segue when we finish.
100%, I figured. But it's actually come up in my personal life as well. Like, this whole thing about British identity, and I've never really felt any patriotism. I've never really felt any, like, pride in being like, I am British.
Okay.
I am in, whatever. But there's something that I like about the working. It happens all over the world, but in Britain, working class Britain, the humour that comes from those places is second to none.
Yeah.
The family, every single member of most, like, I would say in any given working class community, in any family and working class community in Britain, every family's got at least two members of the family that could genuinely be comedians. Proper top level comedians.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. With the right effort and training.
Yeah,
and
like the humour and the wit is just absolutely unparalleled.
But it's funny that so many non-working class people end up
funny
at the
that,
higher echelons in it. And yeah, fair enough. That reminds me of, is it Grace Campbell? She's the daughter of Alistair Campbell. Now, she's incredibly honest about the fact that I would not be a successful... Baby. Yeah, she said, but, you just got to be honest about it.
Yeah, embrace it. Yeah. That's all I ever ask. I remember getting really annoyed when I was younger about people who'd be like, because, like, still the same now. Like, so often there's so many people who get their jobs because they know someone who's in the company. And they'll just sort of like give a nudge to the bottle that you're looking for someone, I've got someone kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Remember back in the day, we had quite a few of our like friends and stuff that would get jobs that way. Particularly for young people, it's always been like even harder just getting your foot on the ladder. And I remember there were a couple of people that were like, I got it because I worked really... And I'm not saying you didn't work hard. I'm not saying you didn't interview well.
You wouldn't have even got your foot in the door.
But you can't deny the fact that you knew someone who was already there, that was already well established there.
It's the same attitude as
like
I can't, the older generation. You know, like, we had it hard.
Like I said, I'm not saying you didn't work hard and you didn't get there through... I'm not saying they didn't take you on some kind of meritocracy, but... Be honest and admit, don't deny it. It's the denying it that used to really bother me. You got the opportunity. It really bothered me when people would do that.
Yeah, the thing is, the fair way to put it was that they got the opportunity because of who they know, but they kept the opportunity because of their hard work. That's a fairer way to put it. Gay! Love it. Talking about culturalism and stuff like that.
I don't know why I winked. Sorry.
The reason you knew what story I was going to mention...
Yes.
About the 12-year-old girl who got isolated at school for wearing a Union Jack dress.
Yes, and quite frankly, with all this talk of Trump and the Epstein files, it's nice to have a 12-year-old girl in the news for something non-sexual.
That she hasn't been touched by someone inappropriately. No, 100%.
Thank God, no celebrity's been... You know, I mean, let's just...
Yeah. What did you think when you heard the story?
I'll walk you through it.
Go for it.
Okay, I will walk you through it. I read the headline.
Yeah.
And my immediate thought was... there's something more here.
Yeah.
And so I opened it up, and having read it, and she made she made a speech.
Yeah.
About
they wouldn't let her.
No, but she'd written this speech, or at least we're led to believe she'd written it. There's many accusations that the father had indeed written the speech.
Right. Okay.
But she'd written this speech that the article I saw printed, and it was something. It was about. It said, we should be embracing other cultures, but. Let's not erode British culture. And then they also, the thing that made me laugh in this little speech was this is something along the lines of, there's so much to British culture, like all these fantastic cuisines and stuff. I'm like, right, I'm going to stop you there. See, those are actually the other cultures that you're now saying are eroding our cultures. We stole them.
Yeah.
And now they're getting a little bit of light on their own.
And we've actually forced them to cook versions of their food.
For us.
For us, yeah.
And now they're getting a little bit of light on their own, these cultures, and we're going, no.
See, the story I saw, they said that her speech was about how amazing the multiculturalism is and how much it enriches our culture. And
It had elements of that, but it did also say British culture's being eroded, and let's make sure we don't erode that.
Okay.
Didn't use the word erode or erosion, but that was the sentiment buried in the middle, the little nugget in the centre of the speech. But I'll be honest, when I read it and I still thought there's got to be something more, because I was like, if that is...
It's an extreme step to
the whole of the facts, then the school have overreacted massively.
Yeah.
Because she wore the Union flag dress and it's like, it feels to me like it was like, there's... something is going to come out of this story
that we don't know, or
that's going to be like, and that's why they pulled the plug. Do you know what I mean?
She did punch 5 South Asian descent girls in the face when she walked through the door.
She used several offensive slurs in the preamble to her speech.
For me, outside of the obvious,
what did you think when you saw it?
Like you, my initial reaction was like, well, surely it's not just going to be because she wore the dress. But the story I saw, basically the implication was it was just the dress.
Shall I find it and we read the speech?
Yeah.
You continue to tell us your thoughts.
But my main issue with it, beyond the fact it was an unreasonable way to treat a 12-year-old girl and to single her out like that, is it worries me what the effect these stories have on the zeitgeist of the country, because you will now get right-wing wankers that use it to add to their arguments, like you can't say Christmas anymore, you have to say Happy Holidays, and it adds to all of that. Do you know what I mean?
So this is the bit that she wrote for Culture Day. Today I want to talk about my culture, British culture, and why it's important to me. In Britain we have lots of traditions, including drinking tea, our love for talking about the weather, and we have the royal family. Like, so far so good.
Yeah.
She goes on to say we have an amazing history like kings and queens, castles and writers like Shakespeare. It's also modern, diverse and always changing, with music, fashion and food from all around the world blending into daily life. And let's not forget fish and chips. Not actually my go-to order at a chippy, but that's neither here nor there.
I go sausage.
I go sausage and pie because I'm fat.
nice. I go double sausage. Look, I'm just gonna
Mate, respect.
Or sometimes
Respect the game.
it can vary. It can either be a battered sausage with a sausage,
Or I like that.
a sausage and a saveloy, or a battered sausage and a saveloy.
I think battered sausage saveloy would be. Listen, I just go battered sausage and pie. That's my go-to.
Respect. With a curry sauce, by the way.
Don't mind the curry sauce. Apparently there's a really good one in Coulston that does some nice curry sauce as well.
Oh.
Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Maybe if the Patreon gets popping,
we'll use some of those.
We'll go Coulston.
We won't divert
We'll
them.
film it though.
We'll
film it for content.
Write it off.
That'll be a Patreon exclusive.
Write it off for tax reasons. Let's not forget fish and chips. It's also the way we speak, our humour, our values of fairness and politeness, and the mix of old traditions and new ideas. But sometimes at school we only hear about other cultures, which is great because learning about different countries is interesting and important, but it can feel like being British doesn't count as a culture just because it's the majority. I think culture should be for everyone, not just for people from other countries or backgrounds. Being British is still a culture, and it matters too. It's part of who I am, so let's celebrate all cultures, whether they come from far away or right here at home. So you can sort of I still think they overreacted, but you can sort of see she's hinting at...
Yeah, look, there's some...
There's Tom Tugendhat thing of the British values being written off.
It's the thing, look, we know people, we mentioned it last week and previously about people getting annoyed over someone wanting halal food at Greg's. It's... and they're like, this isn't British. And it's like, well, you got 2 million Muslim British people in this country, so I would consider them very much part of the British culture. And therein lies the problem, because for people like me and you, we look around and see all these different people and we're like, well, it just adds to the rich tapestry that is British culture. And for a country that idolises our past, we were literally joking before we came on about that if America got destroyed by a super volcano, we'd probably quite happily use immigrants to send them over there to take the land back. And we're jokingly singing Rule Britannia. But we fetishise and build that up as a society. I remember that being part of our childhood. So to be happy about us conquering the rest of the world, taking peoples from these nations, bringing them back, taking their goods and bringing them back, taking their valuable artifacts and bringing them back, to then be uncomfortable with these people being a part of our culture, part of us.
She loses trust called the Elgin Marble, part of British culture.
Yeah.
So that's neither here nor there. It just made me think of it.
And she also said she was shocked about that leak. And it was like, you were fucking foreign secretary at the time, you silly bitch. A lot shocks that woman.
It's amazing when you're dumb how much surprises you.
Honestly, the fact she became prime minister just above and beyond tells you anything you need to know about this country.
Tells you how racist the Tories are.
Yeah. They wanted her over.
They were like, we got the brown guy.
Yeah, or this moron.
Or we got absolute idiot.
An literal airhead. I hate it. It's a misogynistic thing to say, but she fucking absolutely matches that description. She's an airhead. But yeah, to be fine with fetishizing that side of our culture, in air quotes, but to then not be willing to embrace what comes with that, I find that really difficult and uncomfortable to understand. There was an interesting report, and we'll talk about it later, part of it, because we both did the test that came from the company, right? Yeah. But they said that one thing they found was that whilst everyone said that the country was a shithole, and absolutely horrible and destitute and overrun with whatever big businesses, immigrants, whatever side of the political spectrum you're on. Yeah. But they said that overwhelmingly the majority of people said that their areas were nice. Okay.
Or, friendly but fine, basically.
Yeah.
And I think that it's always, tonight, maybe I'm going off track and maybe it's got nothing to do with it, but it puts me in place of when people bang on about how shit London is, but they're not from London. But not just how shit it is, but it's like it's crime ridden. You can't even step off the bus without getting mugged. No go area. If people not from London, whereas everyone from London is like, if there was nowhere in London that I wouldn't go.
No, they're probably even Brixton now. I've been to Brixton.
Brixton's been properly gentrified,
man. Yeah, that was the only place
as well, same.
That was the only place when I was younger. I remember my parents being like, "Just don't go Brixton."
Yeah, like Hackney, Whitechapel, Peckham. Even Peckham's being a bit gentrified.
Yeah, like Croydon's not a nice place, but I would still go there. Maybe no, there's probably parts of Croydon I'd probably avoid. But other than that, yeah. I think what that probably indicates is the same thing James O'Brien talks about when people talk about we got to get rid of the immigrants, and they're like, no, but not you. And I think what that tells us is that actually people are comfortable with the people around them, but they're convinced that they're not.
But I do
they're not.
I do on the one hand understand how they say that we celebrate other cultures but we don't ever celebrate British culture, but that's because, in my opinion,
you're within it.
You're within British culture. Everywhere is British culture, and what we're trying to do is give a voice to cultures that aren't as prominent and sometimes could be forgotten. It's
because at the end of the day, these other cultures that we're talking about and we're educating children about are still part of the minority.
Yeah.
So, like, yes, there's 2 million Muslims in this country, but they're still very much part of the minority.
And I'll tell you the reason why it's played such a prominent part in my world, and it's been part of my discussions, was because obviously my partner's from, well, she's from here, but her family's from Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
And they are loyalists. They're British. They're of the Protestant side of the coin.
So they're like all cool with king and country.
They love king and country.
Cool.
And the reason, and so the 12th of July is a big celebration over there. It's the celebration of the Battle of the Boyne, which is a decisive victory for William of Orange.
Okay. I've got to be honest, I'm really bad with that.
So William of Orange, I'm just going to give everyone a quick overview. William Orange, so the Protestant Reformations had one of the big capital parts of the Europe where the Protestants had a big control within the lowlands, so that in the Netherlands was like a huge part of it. In Germany was a huge thing.
Okay.
William of Orange was Dutch, and he came over to the UK and took the throne because it was ripe for the taking, because it shouldn't be in the hands of a Catholic, because the whole country had kicked Catholics out.
Okay.
And even though there was like a peaceful thing, there wasn't a peaceful thing. It's a whole thing. Anyway, so that was a decisive victory.
So a fucking Dutch
in helping the Irish, helping them beat the Catholics and the Irish, and helping them stay British and helping them keep that stronghold. So they have this huge celebration, and over there, it's huge. They have the Union Jacks everywhere. Yeah, they love King, Queen, and the reason is because it's so important to their identity, because they've shared their space with people who are Unionists, who are Catholic, but who are Irish, who hate the monarchy, who hate everything about Britain, and these people are British. So in that close quarters, and having had such, I mean, people were literally killing each other over it.
Enmity and violence.
That British identity is very important to them.
Yeah, because they've become marginalised in the place they live,
I've had a huge education in it, a crash course in it.
Does it make sense to you when they talk about it?
Yeah, because to me, my British identity, my English identity doesn't mean anything. I've never had to fight for it. I've never been fought for it, despite what the current claims are from people in parties like the Reform Party and Conservatives telling us that British identity is under attack. I've never felt like it's not that important to me.
No.
And it's not that important to like my family and stuff. But someone who grew up in Northern Ireland, being Irish or being British was a huge part of your identity, and you literally went to war with it. I mean, a lot of people didn't engage in the fighting.
British, they're not
They
Irish.
would say they're British.
Okay. Well, they wouldn't go like, I'm Northern Irish, I'm British.
They would say Northern Irish, but they wouldn't say Irish.
Right, okay. Interesting.
And so a few times I make reference to Irish singers, and they're like,
wow, okay.
Only half-hearted, only joking. They're never like going to launch at me for it.
No, but it's ingrained.
But because it was such a big part of their identity, because it was so important to them. Because everything that happened to them.
The thing is, in reality, and this isn't insulting them, there's a lot of history there. Obviously, it's a bit mad, isn't it? They're all just on one island.
Ultimately, in the last 100 years, and it more or less is 100 years, 105, 106, 110 if you go back to the revolutions in Dublin, but the Easter Risings, but it's everything that happened to them in the last 100 years has happened to them because half of them are British and half of them are Irish. Now that's what's happened.
Yeah.
So it is really important to hold on to that identity, and it means a lot to it.
Yeah.
But to me, it doesn't mean that much.
No, to me neither, to be honest with you. I have my moments of like random like a little patriot inside me. That,
Yeah,
like,
of course.
where you're like, oh no, you can't fucking take the jewels and the shit we stole from you in the past.
I mean, I know I'm the only time I'd ever probably be like, British, I suppose, and when we take all the other nations and be like, you're ours, fuckers, is when you see certain, there's certain ways that Scottish people hold themselves on the international stage that always makes me be like, God damn, makes you proud to be British. Like, do you know what I mean? There's just a certain,
No, fair enough.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I've never really held much stock in. I've always said I'm English, I guess, when I think about it, like in the past. But no, I've always enjoyed the variety of this country. And like people always say, the Scottish hate us. I've been to Scotland. I've met a lot of Scottish people. I've never really.
They do,
found
but it's
that.
tongue in cheek.
Yeah, because like we're not actually like. I mean, you could say some would argue we're subjugating them, but it's not like it would have been in the past. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, we still are a little bit, and in recent years we've sort of proved that. But for the general public, it's just a good rivalry.
Yeah.
It's just good fun to have someone that you're so close with that you can take the piss out of.
Yeah.
And go, ain't them a lot of wankers?
Yeah. And the thing is, maybe part of it for us is we grew up in London.
Yeah, it's multicultural.
It's quite a privileged place to grow up. It's predominantly richer than the rest of the country just because the Thames happens to be there. Like historically, that's why it's the richest place in the country. So yeah, it always baffles me when you find people that's central to their identity. But as you've just explained, there can be very valid reasons why.
But these people, I'm pretty sure, were just like somewhere in the Midlands.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that makes you, but I think
it was Plymouth.
Oh, was it Plymouth?
I
don't want to knock them.
Because the article I read was in like the Plymouth.
Oh, right.
Something.
I don't want to knock it because, like I said, I do think the school's overreacted, and I do think there's nothing wrong with expressing some kind of British pride, despite my lefty views.
Me, my assumption is like, because sometimes on the left, it feels like we're too concerned about like being accused of something to have like awkward conversations, and like instead of just saying like, look, we might not be 100% comfortable with what this girl thinks, but she has every right to feel that way, and as long as she's not being horrible or nasty to anyone, she has every right to, like I said, display her patriotism in that way.
Based on the information that I have received about that case, the girl's done nothing wrong.
Yeah.
And the school's massively overreacted.
And like,
it
is actually a situation where I'd go, it probably is a bit woke gone mad, to use that like that ridiculous term. It is a bit like, it feels like a left wing headmaster was just like, oh well, we can't risk upsetting anyone, and and they've just we'll isolate her and send her home. And like I said, there's some stuff in that speech where I'm like, that could go the wrong direction. Do you know what I mean? But I would argue if she did write it, you can tell she probably got those views and opinions from the things she's heard from her parents. But I've always maintained with stuff like that, I think it's better you allow someone to express those views so that they can be educated towards the right direction. And the thing is, hopefully she'll grow up in a multicultural society, get to know different people, and disagree with her parents or whoever it is that's influenced those feelings.
Yeah.
So,
or at least reach the point where she goes, actually, British values aren't really under attack. I don't think they are. I've never felt they are.
No.
Which is, I appreciate the oddity of me saying, I don't really feel very British, and then going, British values aren't under attack. If you did feel very, not patriotic, nationalistic, I suppose, then you might see it differently.
The problem is that most people that say that sort of shit are just at the heart, because it's only really quite extreme people that say things like, Britain's under it, or like the British values are under attack. It's because they're uncomfortable with how many non-white people there are around them usually for those sorts of people. Do you know what I mean? It's
like when the Acolyte people got the Acolyte cancelled because there weren't many white British men in it.
Who gives a fuck?
Despite whilst ignoring the fact that almost every other show is led predominantly
by white men,
by white men.
Yeah. And I just enjoy, like, honestly. And the thing is, like, I've watched people critique Acolyte, and they'll veil it in, well, I wasn't happy with this, and I wasn't happy with this, and it was like, no, you were just unhappy with the fact it was a female lead and an Asian guy and another non-white person. That's all it is.
I love the Acolyte. Anyway, that's not the
That was a really good show.
I'd
like a second season.
Do you know what? Let's use that as a jumping off point just quickly.
Go on.
So you've seen Superman.
Yes.
I have not.
Cool.
Give us your thoughts.
I liked it.
Nicholas Holt's going down as a good Lex Luthor by all accounts.
I think he put in a good performance, to be fair.
Is it clever from James Gunn to cast the man who auditioned for Superman and got rejected to play Lex Luthor? So he's already psychologically halfway there.
I think I've seen him interviewed where he was like, I really wanted to hate David.
Yeah, and he was just the nicest bloke.
He's just the nicest bloke you'll ever meet. And then on top of that, he was then really good at the job. So it was like, I'm angry at him, but I can't be angry at him because he's too nice and he's good. And I don't like him because he's too nice and he's good. But no, I thought he put in a genuinely good performance. I'm a fan of Nicholas Hoult, to be fair.
Where does he rank? Where would you compare him to the ultimate Lex,
Rosenbaum,
who you and I both know is Michael Rosenbaum?
Will always be number one. But he had like 7 seasons to grow that character and to put
at least like 4 or whatever it was before he sort of like left the show for a bit.
Yeah. But no, Rosenbaum is always my number one.
Yeah.
It would have to be.
He had like 100 episodes.
It would have to be an Oscar-worthy performance from someone
to top it,
and then to die afterwards like a Heath Ledger for me to swing that for me. But he was good because he's better than Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah, the last couple of Lex Luthors haven't been great live action.
And I didn't think Eisenberg was horrific. It was a very different direction. But I'd probably say
Nicholas Hoult
was probably better than him. I'll put my cards on the table. I'm Cavill, ride or die. I love that style of film. I love the way it was made. I love his portrayal of Superman. But I went into this film going, it's just a Superman film. It doesn't ignore all of that. Just go and see what the film's like. And I enjoyed the film. It was all the things I was concerned about before from watching the trailers sort of happened. Like they put a lot in it. There's a lot of characters. You're essentially just dropped into
an existing DCU.
It was like a comic book. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they've just dropped you in the middle of this comic book story, and it's almost like maybe across a week the story, and you just go through the stages with him, and he's not as physically imposing, I would say, as Henry Cavill. He's like almost half the size of him nearly, but I enjoyed it. I think that's the fairest way to put it. People when people are saying, it's just talking about Israel and Palestine. It is.
That's what I was going to say.
100% is.
Well, what I like, I've not seen this.
Because I wanted to go into it and be like, oh, they're just. No, it is. The story is 100%.
But the way I've look, you're going to tell me differently that it's more obvious than this. But I sort of read it as there was this genocidal state thing, and Israel kind of looked and went, "Hey, man, that's clearly us." And it's like, well, no one said it was you. If you see that and you think that's you,
it couldn't be more clear that when James Gunn was making the movie. It's not a subtle wink. It's not like it's a side part of the story. Everything is based around that part of the story, essentially, and everything else is sort of a reaction off of it, almost. But yeah, it is one. It's completely. I think it's Baravia's the country that's Israel, essentially. I can't remember the name of the other country, but it's essentially the same situation.
But because that's what I want to talk about there, because Israel are now talking about banning the film.
People being annoyed that. That's the sort of story that is a Superman story. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and the reaction from people have been like, Superman's gone what? Superman was woke from day one.
Yeah.
Literally, 1938, Superman bursts onto the scene and he goes, hey man, guess what? Doesn't matter where people come from. We can all still love each other and be cool together. So it doesn't matter that people are coming from all over the world. Doesn't matter that this person is this colour or this colour.
Yeah,
you know what? What matters is what's on the inside and the good deeds you're willing to put into the world. That's from day fucking
100%.
one.
And I think a very deliberate choice in this film compared to the Man of Steel film is that because the whole premise of the Batman versus Superman was Batman so disgusted by the collateral damage and the cost of having a Superman around that's what sparks it off. This Superman values life above anything else. At one point he saves a squirrel. Do you know what I mean? Anything he can save, he will save, and that was one of the big differences in between the two films. So I liked it. I think he's a good Superman. Definitely going back towards the Superman films of my youth, and I'm not against it.
Did you ever see Peacemaker, the series?
No, I haven't, to be fair. I haven't.
Well worth checking out.
Okay.
The vigilante character in that is just
because it's John Cena.
fantastic, and John Cena owns that role.
Yeah.
Big
It's
time.
almost like what he was born for, wasn't it?
Oh, 100%.
But yeah, no, look, and I think James Gunn made very deliberate choices, and did it that he wants it to be a comic book movie, and it did feel like watching. Almost like the original Spider-Mans from when I was a kid. It felt like that sort of...
That bodes very well.
So yeah, no, I would in no way say it was a bad film. I do prefer the Man of Steel style, but I would look forward to seeing...
more of this universe.
Where they take the story and where it goes, yeah.
Yeah, cool. And I just really wanted to say about the Israel thing, because obviously they're talking about...
Yeah, no, it's... I wanted to be able to leave it and say, like, no, they weren't doing that, but they absolutely were.
But you know what would help? If you weren't actively committing a genocide,
you
probably wouldn't be able to be portrayed in a movie.
We the bad?
Yeah,
we're
the baddies.
Yes.
Yes. Turns out, yes.
Yeah, you are. But yeah, no, I enjoyed it.
Fucking woke Superman making out like ethnic
Are you gonna
cleansing's
go
a
see
bad
it?
thing. I would like to. I would like to.
Just do it, bro.
A little short on time, I think, but I would like to.
Yeah. Oh, you got time. Just squeeze it in one evening.
Well, I was thinking, I was like, to be honest, I could just do it on like there's a couple of days on the trip where there's not really much happening.
Yeah.
Potentially, unless something kicks off.
Yeah, why not?
I could just jump in and do it then.
But yeah, no, I liked it. I'll tell you what, one random story, literally while I was out with my sister this afternoon, she mentioned a story Catherine Ryan put on her Instagram, and it was quite interesting because it came from a study that basically men are more likely to leave their wives when they get sick than vice versa, that basically men are 7 times more likely to...
What, when the wife gets sick? Or when the man
when the wife gets sick. A wife will stick by her man.
Boris Johnson.
Oh, is that what he did? Did his wife get unwell?
Wasn't he cheating on her while she had cancer?
I mean, that wouldn't shock me. It's Boris Johnson. I knew he cheated on every wife he's ever had, but...
Pretty sure one of them was going through cancer treatment.
Otherwise, I'll have to go... I think it's in my messages. Bear with me. And this
do you know what? Where is it? Where is it?
Peppa Pig World.
Oh, forgive me.
This was a story someone sent to Catherine Ryan, and I just wanted... It's mental, because I just think men need to sort their shit out. This is really bad.
Forgive me.
And the top of it says, my husband drained our mutual bank accounts because I have brain cancer. And this was his message to her. Listen, it's been hard.
Oh, mate, listen is such a... Bro.
Listen,
bro.
Full stop. It's been hard, full stop. I can't handle watching you die, full stop.
Wow.
I feel alone, full stop. I feel trapped, full stop. I'm not sure where or what I'm going to do, but my mum, my therapist, and my buds all agree this is the best course. I've invested a lot during your treatment.
I think the therapist has realised that she's better off without him.
I've invested a lot during your treatment in recouping what I put in, plus extra for my future. I can still have one.
Wow.
This is his wife, by the way. I'm sorry that you're dying. I truly am.
He's getting digs and he's kicking her.
But I cannot be a part of it. I can't watch it anymore. This is the last time you'll hear from me. Please don't hate me. Just move peacefully. And then there's another message. Be happy for me. That I can live for the both of us. That I can breathe for us both. That maybe one day I can love for us both.
All right, stop there. That's the clip. That's the social media. That's the TikTok.
Absolutely.
My man, what is wrong with you? First of all...
But he's not alone, Jay.
The whole message is insane. Second of all, like it's bad enough kicking a man when he's down. Kicking a woman on a deathbed seems like a whole nother level to be like, at least I can have a fucking life.
Yeah, like, even if I put myself in the position
bro,
of being that scumbag,
bro,
that you want to move on, she's dying of brain cancer, just wait. Do you know what I mean? Just wait. If you want to be that scumbag and not give a shit about her, because clearly he doesn't. You can't treat someone you've married like that.
No, but she's dying anyway.
But if she...
Wait her out.
Like, on a really horrible cutthroat level, just wait her out. Do you know what I mean? But fuck me, men are 7 times
I mean, if you
more
really,
likely.
if you really, 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 really hate it, start leaving Dignitas flyers around. I was like, really.
Fucking hell. But genuinely, mate, when Joe was reading that to me, I was like, I cannot put myself in the mindset of if Leanne was that unwell, of saying to her, yeah, you're on your own, babe, and just walk. And not only are you on your own, I've taken all the money.
And I'm texting you.
And I'm texting you this because I
And
can't look you in the eyes and say this.
I've robbed you of all your money.
Yeah.
I've left you at your lowest point and then told you, actually, you should be happy for me.
Yeah, because I get to live for the both of us.
You should be wishing me well.
But yeah, it just...
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a disgrace.
Never has Liz Truss been more right.
Never. But yeah, honestly, I just thought that was a disgusting story.
Wow.
And like, I hope it reaches that bloke, because I think Catherine Ryan's called him out and whatever, but I hope it reaches it. He's a scumbag.
Please. My man, clip that.
Yeah.
Put that on the socials. just the whole thing of you reading out the message.
Yeah.
If you really want, you can clip it up and throw me saying send her to Dignitas at the end.
But yeah, honestly, but men are just scum, mate. We're scum.
What do you think is that entitlement? Like I deserve.
Well, in the study they talk about that, because basically what it is
lack of empathy.
Women look after men, don't they? And like when we go into a relationship, it seems by and large it's not an equal share. Men expect women to do all the childcare, to do all the cleaning, do all the housework, still be willing to have sex with us after.
Well, I'm smart. I got all that drawn up in the contract. And
apparently know that by and large, when they get unwell, we're going to fuck off.
So that's so mad. Like obviously I'm talking about like flu, cold, period pains, whatever, compared to a brain tumour. But whenever my other half's feeling bad, I'm like, I'm there. I'll cook for you. You don't have to worry about, because usually, like, I don't know, she does do her line share of the cooking, but it's not, some like.
The way I see it, if you're living separately,
whenever you're there or here, that's generally the way. And I'll sometimes do a meal there. She'll sometimes do a meal at mine. But I will be there. I'll be like, I'll cook for you. If there's anything I can go and get, I'll make sure you're drinking enough water. I'll make sure you're taking enough. Make sure you're eating enough. That I couldn't imagine it doing it any other way.
No, and I'm sure, like me, you couldn't imagine that if Steph was terminally ill, that you'd be like, yeah, babe, you're on your own.
I don't get to use this very often. What the fuck it?
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth!
I want to look you in the eyes when I say this. I'm never keeping your missus out of my mouth.
Oh.
She call me Mr. Bombast.
Anywho.
But yeah, that was just...
That's pure vile.
It is vile. Genuinely.
Vile.
And it actually, I'm not... no, I won't. But yeah, we sort of know someone who's had something similar happen.
I mean, I will say this to you. Post the Patreon. And when we got that money coming in...
That story's being told.
No, when you get your terminal diagnosis, I will be ending it via text and taking the money.
All the money. Look, I'm dying. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. We both, and I will get to live for both of us.
And eventually get to love again.
So you should be happy for me.
You'll get to podcast without.
I will get to podcast with someone else. So you should be happy for me, actually. You should be thanking me.
But yeah, like I think it really shows that either men aren't being raised properly, or we go out into the world and just presume we're going to be looked after by a woman and don't have, like, because
apparently we are. I don't imagine he's faced many consequences.
The marriage thing, because that's the whole thing. Like in the vows, you're like sickness and in death. Do you know what I mean? So for the instinct reaction to seem to be that men just go, yeah, good luck, see you later.
Just to sort of lean in and be like, to be honest, babe, I just took them in more as like guidelines.
But imagine saying to someone with a brain tumour, I feel alone. Do you know what I mean?
I feel alone.
I can't watch you die.
Yeah.
Like
dying must be a piece of piss. That's easy, love. You want to be
I've
here
got to
watching
watch it
you.
happen. Yeah. Fuck, yeah.
Wow. Scum of scum. Imagine as well when she's like, you made a promise, and he's like, I actually mumbled through the vows at the wedding.
Yeah.
I actually, do you take this woman in 16 enough? I take this woman in. I actually have my fingers crossed behind my back.
Yeah.
The whole vows.
I take her while she's in health. That's
Yeah.
you know,
Do you
that's
know
the
what I
gist
mean?
of it.
That's
But yeah, I couldn't.
wow.
It's
Wow.
I could not imagine being wow. I couldn't imagine being in that situation and being like, yeah, sorry, babe, I'm out. I'm Audi.
I'm Aldi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
straight in the whip, and I'm Audi. Do you
Yeah,
know what I
and
mean?
speaking of, I
I'm taking
bought a
your
new
whip.
Audi.
With
Yeah,
the
I'm
money I
taking them.
I've taken everything. You've. By the way, you need to move out in the next.
Yeah,
month.
can I just be? I thought this would be quicker. I thought you'd be gone by now.
Fucking
I've got a pool table being delivered on Tuesday.
your bed's currently
Your
in
bed
the
is
way.
just right in the middle.
It's really inconvenient.
And then
So I
big
need you to
hospital
find
beds,
somewhere
they're
else to
just not
live.
fun, babe.
Yeah,
You're going to have to...
and you're gonna have to find money from somewhere to rent that van to move.
Yeah,
'cause-
I have used all
I
the
took
money,
the money.
yeah.
Yeah, it's bad, man.
That's horrendous.
Shall we talk about the quiz?
Yeah, let's do the quiz.
So I sent you a link to an episode to talk about Zach Polanski.
And I listened to the episode.
Yeah. What did you think of him?
I think, unfortunately, in that episode, they kind of hit the nail on the head when they said that the Green Party have this optical problem where when people think of Green Party, they think white middle class. And unfortunately, he is
Yeah.
white middle class. He sounds it. He looks, and even when he's like, and even when they're kind of picking on him and they're like, and you're even like a vegan and everything, like you've gone the full hog, which is nothing bad about
No.
him. But unfortunately,
It
it's
makes
just,
him less relatable.
yeah, if you want the Green Party to be accessible, you've got to have someone that is accessible, and he's not. He's not every
Yeah,
man.
but
There's no one.
I think Farage proves that it doesn't matter what your background is, what your actual
No,
actions are. If the
but
message is on point enough,
Just looking at the optics, Farage had this reputation for years. He was the bloke you go for a pint with, right? That was his thing.
Yeah, you're not
But
necessarily.
you're not going for a pint with that, but you're going to go around and be like,
I mean,
oh,
I
it's
probably
some
would.
hipster brewery
but
where
then
it's all
I'm
like
in the catchment zone
vegan-friendly
of-
beers and
Like, I would like to be able to support a party like the Green Party. I'd like them to be a viable, and I've personally been calling for a while, someone on the left to do what Farage does and get themselves out there, go on every podcast,
well, it
be
might
visible.
be Jeremy Corbyn
Indeed,
and Zara Sultana.
yeah. Although they haven't got their shit together at the moment. The fact that she announced it when she did, Corbyn wasn't on board with the announcement
No.
at that point. He's-
There's talk that she did it just because it was more or less a year from
yeah.
the general election, so it's like a year of Labour, and that was her way of being
But
like,
I'd argue, like, having your house in order and, like, them appearing on television together and announcing
Yeah.
it, or that would have been a stronger message, because basically since it looked a bit of a shit show.
but the
hasn't it?
fact is, Corbyn's fan base will have only solidified
Yeah.
in the Johnson and Starmer years, certainly in the Starmer years.
Because the mental thing is, any clip I see of Jeremy Corbyn, I'm like, I like it. There's
Yeah.
no- and, like, I saw a compilation the other day of him, like, his entire time as a politician. He's on the right side of history almost exclusively. Like, there's not, like, whether it's the Iraq War, gay marriage, whatever the issue may be, he stood in front of a camera going, no, I support this. Iraq's wrong. Gay people should be able to live like the rest of us. And
Yeah, and the
marry
whole the thing with him being pictured, famously being pictured with like members of the IRA and stuff.
and Sinn Féin.
Unfortunately, to end that conflict,
You have to get around a fuck.
we had to sit down with both sides. Do you think
Yeah.
Tony Blair and Gordon Brown, who under whose premiership the Good Friday Agreement was signed, never met with? They
Yeah.
famously, Tony
Yeah.
Blair famously met with Jerry Adams.
Yeah. I haven't heard a
On
word
many
of criticism
occasions.
that Trump has sat in a room with Putin multiple times. Do you know what I mean?
I've
Like-
heard a few.
Well, no, but in general, you're like, but if you're going to negotiate with a guy, you have to get in a room with him.
Yeah,
Do
the
you know
only
what I
problem
mean?
is he's not inviting.
Oh, yeah, the other issue is that the guy involved in the war exclusively isn't in the room.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
no, but it's funny now that when we looked back a few years ago on the pod, we said the biggest thing that Labour had going for it was that because the Tories were doing as horrendously as they were doing and they were shunting everyone left, right and centre, the right was divided. You had... It was... I don't think reform had taken the shape of reform at that
No, there would have
time.
been still UKIP at the time.
But the vote was split.
Yeah.
And it was helping. And you know, the Lib Dems were out of the question since the coalition. The Greens have never really, they've always been on the fringes. They'll have a few MPs, but never more. And it was kind of like the right's divided and that's going to help Labour. Now, the left is completely divided between Lib Dems, the Greens. Independents are getting quite a few votes from disillusioned.
I can't decide whether it's a good or bad thing that everything's fractured, because one of the biggest issues in this country is the monopoly that the Conservatives and Labour have had on politics, because it means we've ended up in a situation where Labour won by a landslide despite getting less votes than Jeremy Corbyn got when he ran an election. And being able to just not follow any of the things that they promised before getting into power.
Well, they followed a few.
Yeah.
And one of the things,
allegedly,
the big announcement in the last week or so, is that in the next general election, the voting age will be lowered.
Yeah, I saw that literally just before we came on.
Do you agree with that or disagree with that?
I think Starmer actually makes a fair point in the sense of that if you're old enough to pay tax and contribute to society, that you should have a vote on where that money goes. And to be honest with you, like, the other argument would be, you know, they don't know enough about politics to properly engage with it. Well, with all due respect, most generations don't have. I was listening to
I was listening to a bit of LBC this morning. I caught the tail end of Nick Ferrari.
Oh, that's always a mistake.
Yeah, he's a
proper prick now.
Bellend.
He's a full-on prick.
He is a bellend. And I caught James O'Brien talking about it. It was the first hour of the show was dedicated to that. And then I turned off and I just came back for Mystery Hour, because it's kind of the only really time of the week where I'm like, finally, talk radio comes to it's decent.
It's one of the best things on radio is Mystery Hour.
But he said the thing and I was like, no, I can't argue with that. And I was like, I know exactly where you're going with this, when he started the sentence. And he was like, to everyone who thinks that young people are ill-informed, they're not across the facts, they don't know enough to be voting in the, in important matters. He's like, I've got one word for you. You know what that word is? Brexit.
Yeah.
He was like, a lot of people in this country voted for Brexit without being across the facts, without knowing what they voted for.
I'm one of them.
And he said, and when things started to come up the way that a lot of people told you it was going to come up, they couldn't fathom it because they didn't know what they'd voted for and they didn't understand it.
And they think it must be a lie.
And so he was like, why do these people have any less right to vote than those people?
Well, they don't. And that's the thing, that just instinctually, I'm like, well, none of the population is properly educated on our political system on its own, let alone what it's actively engaging in, what it's doing. I mean, like, look, again, just this week we found out that there was a leak 3 years ago that's been covered up since by successive governments, not just one. Started with Boris Johnson, that didn't shock me, and has continued with Keir Starmer. And I don't really understand what... Well, maybe I slightly can, because they've continued the stop the boats narrative essentially since coming into power. So I guess they don't want the image of thousands of Afghanis being brought over here, because it's not a good look if that's the rhetoric you're going with. But I would argue it would have been a fantastic way of Keir Starmer like fucking hammering how shit the Conservatives are.
For those that don't know, in 2021-22 there was a leak of so the Taliban have just taken over in Afghanistan, and there was a leak of all of the personnel who had helped or been a part of the previous government.
Translators for soldiers over there that helped overturn the previous regime.
Yeah, to secretaries in a building. Like, there's all literally
of massive people that were paid to help. Like, there's a whole variety.
And in 2022, it was leaked on Facebook, part of the list.
Yeah.
In 2023, I think it was the government were finally made, or the government had finally acknowledged being made aware of it. And in 2024, 9 months after being made aware, they set up a scheme to allow those affected a basically straightforward, easy crossing.
All along. There's no way
they didn't know.
Like, because Boris Johnson went on television and said, we've got all the people that we should have got over here. Because basically we promised these people from Afghanistan that no matter what happens, you'll be protected.
Your back, Jack.
You know, you're helping us. And this is the thing, a lot of people assisted us and the Americans because they believed we were acting in the best interest of Afghanistan by overthrowing the Taliban and a tyrannical regime and putting in charge a government that would look after them and that we would help that government. And Joe Biden decided famously to withdraw from Afghanistan, and then the Taliban took back over, and we essentially, there was famous footage at the time of people being desperate to escape, and we abandoned them. So I think we have
another win for Britain.
I think we have a responsibility to bring these people over, no matter how many there are. We made those promises. We should. It doesn't matter whether it was Keir Starmer or Boris Johnson, whoever. We have a responsibility to look after these people. But unfortunately, it doesn't fit with the narrative that we want to get the cost of housing these people down, of giving them benefits and all that sort of thing. And I mean, famously, people who are on asylum, who are trying to claim asylum, don't get any benefits. They're just put up in a hotel that's literally, and like, get very basic meals, and they're not living a lavish lifestyle. Just hotel owners are bending over the government and local councils to house these people.
And as someone who spent the last year and a half living out of hotels,
they're not living a lavish lifestyle. And they're not. And this is the thing. Like James O'Brien makes a point about this, that like the government might have essentially rented out what was a 4 or 5 star hotel, but they are not living a 4 or 5 star hotel lifestyle.
No, they
won't be living on a 5-star bed. They would have got all of
concierge at the desk.
None of that's going on. They're living very basic and not enjoyable lives. And they want a safe place to live where they can build a life and have a better life for them and their families. So yeah, sad.
Yeah. Do you know what's funny as well is because of the ties that just sticking on the whole stop the boats thing. So a lot of what we need to do is have good relations with France.
Yes.
To ensure that we can send them back and process them. That like part of what Keir Starmer's been trying to work out and negotiate with the French in the last sort of like few months. The funny thing, if Farage gets in, because of all the fires and the bridges he's burnt across Europe,
they'll probably disappear.
They won't have anything to do with him, and therefore crossings will be rampant, because all them countries that they're coming from, which were predominantly France, they won't give a shit about. Like right now, there's some sort of, let's try and not let too many through because we're trying to build good relationships with. Farage is in charge. They're like, send them through. They're like, do you know what, boys? You can get off the bottom of that lorry. We got a taxi here for you. Take you straight to Calais. No problems, mate. On you go.
Because we ended up in this really ridiculous and vicious cycle where the reason people were coming across the channel in dinghies and stuff like that was because there was no safe routes. We've talked about it before.
Yeah.
And the reason there was no safe routes was because the government didn't want to be visually encouraging immigration and asylum claims. But then that created an even larger problem of the small boats and even more people getting into the country undocumented with no support. You know, probably some of them might be committing crimes. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like, you just.
But there's no evidence that there's any greater crime rate amongst.
No. But what I mean is, like, you're creating more chaos
of violent crimes
by not dealing with the actual issue, by not having safe routes, by not actually processing their claims and deciding whether they are eligible to come to the country or not. We end up with thousands of people essentially washing up on our shores.
We've said it before. The whole immigration debate is really simple because it's millions of people shouting and screaming at the top of their lungs to treat the symptoms, when actually if you treat the cause, even though they go, no, we don't want to do that, in the long run,
it's the most effective way and best way.
If you want to deal with that symptom, you need to deal with that cause.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But that's not the world we live in.
We did it, and off that anyway, there was a test.
With a quiz. So yeah, to sort of break down more specifically.
Based on social issues, these guys have developed this quiz, and it will break you down into one of 7 categories.
Yeah. I don't remember what all the categories were, though.
Rooted patriot, traditionalist, I don't know, there was 7 of them. Fuck do I know?
Oh, I thought I screenshotted mine.
I screenshotted mine. I don't need to, I know what I am.
I can't remember what mine was called.
Can't remember.
Classic BBC there.
Was it this one? Oh, that's it. Yeah, I saved the link for it. What was yours?
This will come as no shock to a lot of people who listen to the podcast. Based on social issues, I am apparently a progressive activist.
Would you like to know what I am?
Yes.
Exactly the same.
You're a progressive activist, which means that we apparently care a great deal about the war in Gaza. We care about the power that billionaires have
I can read their
developed.
summary.
Yeah, please do.
A highly engaged and globally minded group driven by concerns about social justice, politically active but feeling increasingly alienated from mainstream party politics.
Which we've literally just discussed.
They prioritise issues such as climate change and international affairs. Again, we've been discussing all of this. Occasionally outliers on social issues. They maintain a strongly held and sometimes uncompromising approach to their beliefs. Keywords: idealistic, radical, uncompromising, political. I would say for me, the uncompromising part probably is less to me, because I do try and see other sides to arguments. What do they worry about? Global issues such as Gaza, climate change, inequality in Britain, the power of billionaires, the rise of Reform UK, the rise of Donald Trump, Brexit, affordable housing, and racial justice. I mean,
all of which reads like a trailer for this podcast.
And literally, we've discussed most of those in this episode, bar a couple.
Speaking of climate change, by the way, can I just briefly share a story that I read a couple of days ago?
Go on.
A Reform UK council. So they did quite well in the council elections not long ago in Leicestershire, so Leicester City Council, have diverted a good chunk, 2 million of the net zero funds,
right,
to put towards flooding, because they consider that a real issue. Never considering why there's more flooding. It's just baffling. It's symptom and the cause. It's all over again. It's like,
well, there was a moment in the Commons in the last week, because we talked about Ed Miliband last week, where he was being questioned by people on a report about climate change, and I'm pretty sure it was a Tory MP stood up and was like, if we go for what this report suggests, it's going to cost us 26% more of our budget by X date. So that's the cost of net zero. It's going to cost working people God knows what. And Ed Miliband was like, well, if he'd actually read the report, you would see that
the cost of doing nothing.
The cost of doing nothing is a 52% increase by the same date. So he was like, the cost of action would save us half the cost of doing nothing. So like he was like, the cost of inaction is...
It was a calm and considered slapback.
Yeah. And he's literally leaning on the podium as he's talking about it, or the dispatch box rather. And it was like, yeah, absolutely. And that's the truth, but that doesn't cut through, and it probably won't cut through. I don't have much hope for climate change, if I'm being honest. I think it's just going to get worse.
Feels that way.
Like, because all of the targets that we set, we're not doing anything to meet them, by and large. Anytime we talk about green initiatives in this country, it's like, it's a waste of money. You know, we don't want to see wind farms on our shore. It's not nice to look at. It's like, are you fucking for real? Do you know what won't be nice to look at? Your whole area flooded.
Speaking of that councillor, when he was like, while we spend all this money on net zero, let's put it into the flooding.
Sometimes my genius is
it's almost
frightening.
But yeah, it's just the world we live in at the moment. While we're still on Labour,
Yeah, boy.
they suspended 3 or 4 MPs in the last couple of days. It was 4. And apparently it's for disciplinary and rebellion reasons. But the leaked reason was persistent knobheadery.
That is phenomenal.
They are Rachel Maskell, the MP for York Central. Maskell led the welfare rebellion against the government's reforms and voted against them.
Well, I wonder why she's been kicked out.
Brian Leishman, MP for Alloa and Grangemouth. He's been critical of the closure of the Grangemouth oil refinery and opposed to the government on welfare. Chris Hinchliffe, MP for North East Hertfordshire. He opposed the welfare reforms and proposed amendments to their planning and infrastructure bill. Neil Duncan Jordan, MP for Poole. He described the government's welfare bill as a dog's dinner. Would you like to see a quick clip of Rachel Maskell being asked about what's been said about them?
Yes.
You might.
I don't.
They said the reason that you 4 have had the whip withdrawn is because of, and I quote, consistent knobheadery. Do you consider yourself a knobhead?
I don't even know what that means, but I think it is really insulting. I'm here trying to do a professional job.
It deserves a round of applause.
Oh, no, well, first of all,
on behalf of people that
See that. Classic BBC
Are
there.
you a knobhead? That's proper Alan Partridge.
That's Ian Dale on LBC.
That is proper Alan Partridge. And then,
Just for asking it on live radio.
and also to the 4 MPs. Why'd you get kicked out for being a knobhead? No, really, officially for being a knobhead.
But yeah, anyway, sorry, I'll continue.
desperately need a voice. And if that is the contempt by which I and my colleagues are treated, let alone my constituents, I find that really insulting, and I hope that is withdrawn.
They said the reason.
There you go. Only a quick. I just thought it was
Top
fantastic.
notch.
When literally, I think about 10 minutes before the pod, I came across it. I was like, "That's got
I
to
need to tag accidental Partridge in that. Are you a knobhead? Are you a knobhead?
Yeah, I can be quite the knobhead. Like, if anyone watches more than a couple of episodes of this, I think they'll agree. But yeah, I just thought that was fantastic. But look, it feels like another example of Starmer leading towards authoritarianism, just purging the party of anyone that disagrees with him.
Yeah.
I mean, like, look, he can't get rid of 100 and something MPs, so you go for the ones that have been the most vocal.
Where do you think they'll go?
Well, she said she's going nowhere. She would like to remain part of the Labour Party and have a party that allows for disagreement and debate. And
Speaking of other reasons that things aren't going well for the Labour Party as well, I just wanted to briefly touch upon the fact that Unite have revoked or voted to revoke Angela Rayner's membership.
I think that says a lot, doesn't it? For someone
It's a
who's
big-
got a Labour
it's a big
union
move.
background.
Considering she's we've spoken about it before, she literally worked her way up the unions. That was her into the political sphere.
Yeah.
Do you think they're right to cut it?
They must feel they're not being heard. And I would imagine if you were the head of a
Well, that's because they
union-
represent working class people. Working class people are not being heard.
But they must have felt having the Deputy Prime Minister be a famous unionist, so as you just said, came up in her career as a unionist. It's what made her politically successful. She's seen as the working class member of that government. She was, for me, at the start, one of the only redeeming parts, and the longer that her time in the government goes on, the less respect I have for her just by being a part of Keir Starmer's government. They must have genuinely felt they had reason to do it. Whether
It's a big statement.
whether it's going to be effective or not, I don't know. I really don't.
Just chucked her out like.
Because they now won't have any allies in the Labour Party, so you could argue it's counterproductive. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. What about you?
I don't know. It's all optics. It's all
Yeah.
politics. It's all playing this move to make that move. You know,
Yeah.
you, whatever you're doing, you're not really doing it for that. You're doing it for something that's three moves
If
ahead.
you were to ask me what I thought they were achieving, I couldn't tell you. I don't know what they think that achieves, because it's not going to make her more on their side. Because she's not going to go, well, fine, I'll prove you wrong and I'll help you. Because she's just going to go, well, fuck you, you've just publicly embarrassed me. You're going to get no help. And who do Unite represent?
A lot of people, they go across a lot of industries
Okay.
tonight.
Because at the moment we've got more doctor strikes, haven't we?
Oh yeah.
What do you think about the doctor striking again? Because I'm torn.
I'm torn as well. I think
Shall
they've not got the same support that they had a few years ago.
Yeah.
But I also think, realistically, you know, when you look at the figures in the last 15 years, I think was the figure, they have had a 30% cut in real terms.
Yeah.
That's not that's a big, and like what they do is highly trained. It's, you know, you or I can just step off the street and be like, there's lots of jobs that you or I can step off the street. And within a couple of years, if we really put our heads down, work our way up, you can't just. I mean, look, the arrogance of me.
It would take 10
might.
years for us to retrain, and that's if we were even qualified to go to medical school.
Yeah, I'm sort of always on side with the doctors, but I think visually the timing of it is not great.
No, I mean, to give us some numbers, in the last 2 years they've had a 22% pay rise. They were going to get the standard offer that they got this year was a 5.4%. I think that's still a reasonable offer. That's above what your generic, like you'd normally get like a 2-3%. I think that's a reasonable offer. It's not an insulting number.
I did work where I never got any.
In general, when I was a manager, we got a standard like 2, if you were lucky, 3% pay rise per year. But in general, it was around 2%. The BMA claim doctors are still 20% worse off in real terms compared to 2008. And depending on experience, they're now called resident doctors rather than junior doctors. Because I always thought junior doctors was a bit of a silly term. Because a junior doctor could have up to 10 years experience. I wouldn't call that a junior doctor. But depending on experience, they get between 37 to 70 grand. Which isn't bad money.
No, but equally...
for the work they're doing.
That's the thing is people look at that and they look at the 70 grand.
Yeah.
But if you're on the 37 grand,
yeah,
you're working a lot of hours.
Probably 60 hours a week.
You basically don't have a social life because of the hours that you're working and the days that you're working, the times you're working. You've trained 10 years to be here. You've probably already done a couple of years working at least.
Yeah.
37 grand for that work, you're literally going in and saving people's lives. It's not.
You could earn more as a train driver.
It's not. So I think it's easy for people to look at the upper end of that and go, don't know what they're talking about. But if you were if that was me, look, I've never earned anywhere near that money, 37 grand. I never got anywhere near it. But if I'd done all that training and stuff, and it is comparable to the rest of the world. You're looking around and there's like certain industries where you'd get. Well, like I'm not going to start getting into these comparisons. But look, I'd be thinking 37 ultimately is not. Considering I probably don't have a social life.
I think I
don't see my friends and family.
I think probably the starting salary should be probably around 45. I think that feels like a fairer number. Have the top end maybe.
Yeah, for a fully qualified
doctor, fresh out of uni, I think the starting salary should be around 45. I think that feels like that. There's not many other jobs, unless you're, again, highly qualified.
That you will get that money,
you'd walk into that. Like even a train driver, you would have to work probably 10, 15 years to start getting towards that end of the numbers. And maybe have the top end for a resident doctor be closer to 90 maybe. And the reason I would do that is because ultimately these people are saving lives. That's what we're talking about. Like, what are these people doing?
Also, we've got to look at it in real terms. I know we're talking about, we've got to save money publicly and whatever, but right now, a lot of doctors at the bottom end of that pay scale, that 37 grand end of the pay scale, they're going off to Canada and Australia because they're getting twice as much just by going to another country, by applying their skills there. Yeah. So we've already told, and we've made it quite publicly clear, Labour, Conservatives, Reform, they've all made it quite publicly clear, we don't want foreign doctors, we want a lot less foreign doctors. Yeah. Well, all our own doctors are going off elsewhere because they're getting paid twice as much.
And having to work half the time.
So all the British doctors are in Canada and Australia.
Yeah.
So, and they're not working quite as mad. They're still working mad hours.
And almost every story I've ever seen of, like, a doctor leaving this country to go elsewhere, whether it's Canada, Australia, New Zealand, they all say, like, I don't want to leave my family, my life. I've trained here. I want to work for the NHS. I believe in the NHS. But I can't justify it anymore. I'm overworked, I'm underpaid, and I'm underappreciated. And, like, if we want to cut costs somewhere, how about we look at the upper management of the NHS? You're telling me there aren't some layers there that we could go, actually, if we got rid of these positions...
Well, quite famously, they're getting rid of NHS England. And quite famously, one of the big problems with the NHS is middlemen.
Yeah, well, how about we get rid of a load of them?
And it's not just a problem with the wage structure and the finances, it's a problem with the actual day-to-day running, because communication is not strong enough. It creates
because it's too many layers.
And it creates really toxic environments.
Yeah.
Quite famously in the NHS, there's 100... I know every industry and every company has these stories, but there's so many stories of middle managers playing favourites and giving the best shifts to X, Y and Z.
In a really cut and dry way.
Giving the shit jobs.
The business of the NHS is helping people, curing people, and saving lives. What do you need to do that? You need doctors. So if you don't value what provides the basic service of your service, it's going to fail. And like that makes me wonder, and we've talked about it before, is that just why they're doing it?
Is that the end game?
Are we doing this so that we can justify scrapping the NHS as we know
And then
it
blame the
currently?
doctors for asking too
Yeah.
much.
Like they're the greedy ones. They're the ones causing the problem. And like when I heard they were asking for another like 20% pay rise, I did go, but that's, again, we've talked about this before, that's a starting point.
Well,
that's
I
not
saw
what they're
someone
actually
say-
expecting to get.
I heard on the radio on LBC, but it's Ben Kentish,
Yeah.
and there was a guy saying, I think he said, it's all about the optics. He said 20% is a big number, and a lot of people are rightfully looking at that and going, I don't get nowhere near 20% in my job and whatever. And he said, but
you're also not a fucking
he says,
doctor.
but right now, he says, like, it's £17 an hour. We're asking for £21 an hour. He said that's the real term.
Yeah. The other really basic question you could ask yourself, like, and
Still a lot, but they're worth it.
everyone has experienced loss or really unwell family members. Would you rather, just put yourself in this scenario, have a doctor that's overworked, stressed, unhappy, potentially not 100% on the ball because of those reasons, because they're overworked, they're unhappy, they might have children at home, there's stress on their marriage because they're always working. Would you rather have that doctor or a doctor that's paid properly, has enough people around them for them to do their job properly? I think maybe that's part of the optics that's wrong as well, is that maybe the strike should be about, let's have more doctors, let's have more resources, let's have more nurses. That should be the argument that's being made, as well as we need more money.
It's tough for me to frame it like that, because for me, when I'm in that situation and someone is just really bad and they need the best care available, I probably would have already sent a text saying that I don't want to do this.
You'd have already
robbed them
abandoned
of their
them.
money. I would have already gone. So what
God
the
help
actual
your
level
parents.
of the level of care they get is actually no concern of mine.
No. But yeah, like, would you rather a doctor that's underpaid, underappreciated
Agreed.
and stressed out, or one that's paid appropriately, happy in their job and well supported? I know which one I'd rather have.
Agreed.
Because it is interesting. It's a story for another time.
But
it's a story for another
would
time.
that then, devil's advocate, would that then hold us ransom to the doctors and nurses forever, where they end up demanding crazy money?
I don't think they will. I don't think they will. And like, but again, wouldn't you argue one of the best paid professions in this country should be people that are saving lives?
I'll tell you what as well, I'll give the doctors their dues
Who should
for.
be paid more? There's a banker or a doctor?
When they were doing their strikes, I'll give them their dues. And the RMT were quite good at this as well. You and I both spoken how we're fans of the RMT before,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
certainly the
leaders of it.
leadership. I will give them the due that when there was a lot of strikes going on at one point, but as soon as the government sat down at the table with them, they didn't sign off to their demands or anything. They were just talking.
Yeah.
The strike slowed down and stopped.
The doctors got lucky to a degree last time because Labour had just got in. They'd been striking for ages.
It was an easy win for Labour.
Labour had to just get it done. They couldn't have it dragging on and dragging on. They needed to prove that they could get in. They said, we'll get round the table and we'll find a solution. And they did. And they got a big pay rise. It's still not enough in their eyes, which is fair enough. Who am I to argue with someone that qualified that's doing that sort of work for me to say, well, aren't you being a bit greedy? No. Like, ultimately, I think the way I would probably fall down on it is if they feel they need more money, give them more fucking money.
Yeah, boy.
Like, it'd be different if it was like, I feel less sympathetic towards train drivers when they're like, we need more money. I can understand working conditions and people being sacked. That's a different thing. But if it's just like, yeah, the 45 grand's not enough to drive this train anymore, cry me a fucking river. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Interesting.
but the argument I make to people at work when they are
Because trains are important on the day-to-day running of
course
Britain.
they are. Of course they are. But I would comfortably and happily do that job for 45 grand a year. I think you'd struggle to find many people that wouldn't. Would you be a train driver for 45 grand a year?
I don't think I'd be a train driver.
Fair enough.
I think it'd probably be quite
But
stressful.
for 45 grand a year, Jake?
Even for, I might do it for a year. But then you've got to do all the training.
I know people who've been train drivers. It's not that stressful a job.
No,
at least
fair
the
enough.
people I know. At least, like, it's boring, and and I imagine there are stressful moments. I don't want to denigrate it completely, but by and large, like I said, I'd happily do it for 45 grand a year. I know not all train drivers are on that, by the way, but yeah. But the argument I always make to people as a unionist is that one of the reasons they have such good pay and have such good conditions is because they have 100% union membership. It's part of the job. You have to be a part of the union. And that means when they go to negotiate with the companies they work for, they're negotiating with everyone that works for them. Whereas in my job, we have around 25%. So the company,
can get by without you.
Well, the company can afford to do what they're doing this year, which is go, yeah, we're not giving you a pay rise. We're not even going to discuss it. We're just not doing it.
Do you know what my partner's company did this year that was really dirty?
What's that?
So for the last few years, they've had their holiday allowance and your bank holidays and stuff. But then what they did was they gave everyone an extra 3 days between Christmas and New Year.
Yeah.
Because they were kind of like, look, no one's really working then anyway. It's just a nice gesture, take you 3 days. So they've taken that away from everyone.
Okay.
But do you know when they did it?
When?
Now.
Okay.
Halfway through the year.
Not warning them before.
No, so
you won't have that
so
this year.
admittedly, their
so
argument.
they've all booked their.
So their
holidays
argument will be is, we would, it's like we haven't actually told you that you're getting it this year. We also haven't told you that you're not getting it, but we haven't told you you're getting it. So but there is at least one person that my partner knows relatively well at work, who's literally used all her holiday with the belief that she's getting those 3 days.
Yeah.
And now she's not getting those 3 days. And it was like, you can't do that halfway through the year. You've got halfway through the year, you can say, look, guys, from next year, but you can't do that halfway through the year. That's just super dirty.
No.
And officially, my partner hasn't even been told because it's been told to a certain managers and they're like, tell your staff. It's like, nah, man, you're dirty. I'm not doing your dirty work.
No. Well, in my job, we get given 2 days extra holiday a year for Christmas Day and New Year's Day. So that no matter what, you can book those days off. You don't have to use them for those days if they happen to fall on your normal days off. But one thing the managers tend to do, because they're not allowed to deny you requesting those days off, and in the company I work for, you're allowed to book Boxing Day and Christmas Day. So you put those requests in, they won't approve them. Mine just got approved now, and it then caused problems because I've got other requests that I'm waiting to get booked. It then used up what was left of my holiday for those days. So I've now had to change other holidays around to then get the other holidays I need off. So again, it's a bit like it's managers being scumbags, not wanting to give you those days off.
Yeah.
Because they're hoping you use all your holiday allowance before they approve it.
Yeah, definitely.
Even though I put the requests in just after Christmas last year.
Sounds about right.
So yeah.
I have no idea how we got talking on to dirty companies.
Well,
we're talking about unions.
Yeah, we talked about Angela Rayner being kicked out of the unions, and then we went from there and discussed labour disputes, and then the doctors and
good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
It's been a good episode.
Covered a range.
We have, and I think the highlight is undisputably that fucking scumbag.
Oh
and his
mate,
dying wife.
I'm telling you now, that's the clip.
I will send it to you later so you can read it to your missus to see what she thinks.
I'm literally just going to play her the clip.
To be fair, by this evening I can send you the clip of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait for you to send me.
I think it was around the 45-minute mark from my own.
I'm literally just gonna wait for you to send me the clip and just send her the clip.
Yeah.
Be like, listen to this.
Just quickly before we go, one of the things, we won't discuss it for too long, but I said I'd mention the thing with Horizon that's come up recently, that basically the company that created the program, Fujitsu, since the scandal has come out, has had government contracts totaling 500 million.
That's lower than I thought it was going to be, in all honesty. But yeah.
And that the government claims they've been paying out compensation to the postmasters affected. The main people like John Healy that have made the complaint have said that that's not true and that the government are lying. So there's still a lot of stuff going on that they're not actually being paid out.
Shocked.
What was it? Yeah, they're saying the government have said that they've paid 1 billion so far to postmasters. This is the government, by the way, not Fujitsu. Fujitsu haven't paid a penny.
No, and they won't.
Reparations whatsoever. But yeah, it's disputed by the main people, saying that this has just plugged the shortfall. So if you were a postmaster, the government have filled the gap, whatever the money that was missing was. They haven't actually paid the postmasters a penny. That's what's being claimed.
Shocking.
It's not.
And yet
though,
it's
is
not.
It?
That's my
the thing.
point. It's not.
It's shocking that they're behaving that way, but sadly not at the same time.
Disgusting!
Beautiful. So yeah, I just wanted to add that in at the end because it's been in my notes for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I had loads of notes before this. Do you know that?
Oh, anything you want to quickly rattle off before we go?
I can. Do you know what? I will. There's two things I'm going to rattle off. One, the whole thing of Lamine Yamal's 18th birthday party.
I know nothing.
So there's like women that have come out and claim that they were just paid to be there and look pretty. But the best part of it,
No, but that happened.
is that there were pictures of dwarves and little people leaving the party that had supposedly been used for entertainment purposes. And now there is a
Wall Street style stuff, I'm assuming.
Yeah, and there is now a disability group in Spain that represents the little people that are now suing Lamine Yamal. Yeah,
Look, you
What-
get your money, Kings. Get
What
your
I'm
money.
hating.
That's going to be fine. He's going to earn a lot of money in his lifetime. I'd get it off him.
and this is one I just want to end on.
Also, who behaves that way? Unless you're like, you watch The Wolf of Wall Street, and it makes sense why they're hiring little people to do crazy shit because they've got an obscene amount of money. They're coked up. Like, it's still wrong, but I can understand how.
And it was the
happened.
80s, 90s.
I can't understand how a 18-year-old Lamine Yamal, with the world at his feet, like, he's seen as the next Messi. Do you know what I mean? He's seen at that level already, and he's an incredibly talented footballer. You don't need, like, there must be enough beautiful women out there. You don't need to pay them to be there. Do you know what I mean? Like, there'll be plenty of, like, it's just all unnecessary. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What happened to just going down the Weatherspoons
The dog
with
and
your
duck
mates?
and
Yeah,
yeah, to World's End and
that first pint,
having a knees up.
100%.
What happened to a bit of pub golf?
What happened to your mum and dad hiring out local town hall,
Yeah.
and all your
The
aunts and
local
uncles are
social
there,
club.
and all your mates have got to try and not be too aggressive because all your aunts and
And not
uncles
too
are there
much
as well.
aftershave.
Nan and Grandad leaves about 8:30.
The thing is, I dread to think what he's earning.
Too
at
much
18
gel,
years of
too
age.
little gel. You know, these are not the concerns of Lamine Yamal. These are the concerns of you and I.
But sadly, we weren't blessed with two world-class feet. with a
Well, I
football.
wasn't. You just chose not to pursue it, and I don't know why.
It's women, mostly. Women and cocaine.
Agreed.
I went down the Maradona route, but without the success.
Well, speaking of, we're going to keep it in the football vein.
Go for it.
I just want to take final opportunity, to talk about one of my all-time favourite stories in football,
Go on.
with the retirement of Wayne Hennessy.
Yeah.
The
Desperate.
time that he got
He's-
caught
Still desperate to learn.
doing a Nazi salute, or Roman salute, as it may now be
Sorry,
called.
yeah.
Sorry, the Elon dab.
Yeah.
And then genuinely stood up
Do you
in
want
front
to do
of
it again for
I'm good.
good luck?
And genuinely stood up in front of a panel of FA officials and said, World War II? Well, this has come as a great shock. Sorry, Adolf Hitler, how are you saying that?
Yeah.
Hitler. I know nothing about him. I'm very keen to learn.
Yeah.
And if you'll forgive me, I will go and educate myself. And the FA panel looked at him and went, yeah, I'll buy it.
Well, he's Welsh, isn't he?
And that's probably what they said. That's probably exactly how the conversation went.
I was going to try and do a Welsh accent, but I'm not good enough at a Welsh accent.
Go on, give it a go anyway.
Adolf who?
Yeah, I'll go for it.
Oh, the silence was deafening.
It was, yeah, it
it
was.
was deafening.
It had more of a Scouse vibe. I think she went high pitched.
Adolf who?
That's more like
That's
it, boyo. That's more like it.
That's my Rod Gilbert.
That's far better.
I
That
never knew we had wine in Wales.
World War what?
You have a Michelin star, but you can't afford to play it.
Yeah, boys. Did you hear there's a sequel to this World War? Like,
Yeah, that's better. I can do
World War.
Rod Gilbert.
We'll just do Rod Gilbert.
Just do Rod Gilbert. Wayne Hennessy. It tailed off towards the end. but
No, I
yeah.
liked it. Anyway, that's just what I wanted to end on. A little bit
No,
of.
look, that was a fantastic story at the time. It will never cease to be enjoyable. And I hope if he ever pops up on television that will be it.
Honestly, the fact that he got away with it is, I think, the only thing that was phenomenal.
I would have
about it.
respected him a lot more if at the time, if he'd have just gone, look, I was off my tits, I was a dickhead, I didn't think I was, in the
It's
moment,
insensitive, and I was wrong.
and I'm really sorry. I'm going to do some education. I'm going to do some anti-Semitism courses to, learn from my mistakes.
Do you think,
And
like,
just...
I mean, who do you think his lawyer was? Like some Del Boy lawyer?
Well,
Do you know what I mean? Some
it worked,
just
didn't
Saul Goodman.
I've seen clips of him, by the way. I feel like I need to watch the show because he's such a
I've never
good
seen
actor.
Better Call Saul. It gets really raved
Some
up.
of the clips, no, but genuinely, some of the clips I've seen, I'm like, oh, I could see myself getting.
I mean,
into
like
a
this
bit
is.
of that.
Let me tell you about the introduction. The first scene with Saul Goodman in Breaking Bad. They go in to see him, and it's
Is it the
just,
house thing?
No, there's just. I'm pretty sure the first introduction is. It's just after there's been a huge incident at the end of one of the series.
Yeah.
That's affected a lot of people in the town, and as they go and see him, he's fitting a neck brace on someone and being like, "There you go, now you're properly injured. Now you're properly injured. We'll get that money, don't you worry."
But yeah, no, it's good. Right, guys, it's been a great episode.
Yeah, boy.
I could, as always, when we get to the end of the episode, I can't quite remember what we were talking about. I think the episode's got to be called something like "Would you leave your dying wife?"
Oh, would you leave your dying wife?
And then I'll just have an image of like a sick woman in bed as the clickbait thumbnail.
Oh, do you know? Oh my God.
What did you think I was going to say?
It was more the idea I had, and I don't want to say it because I think
I
it's
want to
really
know
telling.
that.
I'm just going to start listing women that have died.
Do you
know who the
reckon-
first one I
Are you
went
seeing
for?
your missus after this episode?
Yeah.
Is there any chance she'd be all right with you taking a photo of her like laid up in bed with a thermometer in her
Not a
mouth?
chance.
Damn it.
But do you know who the first woman I thought of?
Go on.
Oh, God. You said, I'll just get a picture. And I thought you were going to say Jade Goody.
No, that might honestly. I don't think in 100 years that'd have been where I got to.
It's not good, is it?
No, it's not. Bless her. Rippers.
It's too late to do an Indominate pot today.
No, I
Good
think you can
video.
still do it. It's never too late, Jake. It's never too late.
Not in the eyes of God.
Let it play.
In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti.
That makes reparations, doesn't it?
Always.
For what I've said, yeah, that's
Always.
fine.
Look, you've just got to move on. That's all you got to do.
She was bringing me down towards the end, if I'm honest.
I
Tough
felt
to
so
watch.
alone.
I was
I
so
felt
alone.
trapped.
Trapped. I forgot about trapped.
Yeah, I mean, look, if people like, if I can, I might try and just like put it on the screen while we tell the story.
Oh,
but
if you can, that would be fantastic.
I've never done that sort of thing before,
No.
so we'll see how
Even
that
just
goes.
cut it and then just cut back to our reactions.
Yeah. Maybe what I'll do is in the middle of the story, cut. Maybe I'll do this in the clip. I'll see. I'll try.
You'll play around with it.
Yeah, I'll play around with it. Otherwise, I'll see if there's a way I can link it in the episode description. But yeah,
Mama like that. Mama like that.
we'll see how we get on.
I've made some weird eye interactions with you. I've winked at you like 3 times.
Can I say something? I've not really picked up on it. I'm used to.
I nearly after
I'm
the
not
second...
uncomfortable making eye contact with you. We've done it
After
for
the
6 years.
After the second wink, I nearly said something. I was like, sorry, I don't know why I'm winking at you.
I think it shows which one of us has issues with intimacy and which one doesn't.
I winked at you. There's no issues with intimacy here.
No, but you said it's weird. I don't find
Come
it
and
weird.
hold this
You're
and I'll
the
tell
one
you
who
if there's
find-
issues with intimacy.
We're just like that'll be a Patreon. We're just stood there holding each other's knobs, just get playing gay chicken. How far does this go?
Yeah, we're married.
So
We've
I'm
now
fucking-
adopted.
I've got my foot on your head as I'm ramming you from behind.
What's that? The meme, the tweet thing where it's like, me and my bro were playing gay chicken once. Anyway, we're on our way to a B&B in Vermont.
That could be us. Sorry,
That
babe.
could be
You're
us.
not dying, but I'm gay.
Also, because I don't back down from a challenge.
Fair enough. Look, you'd have to prove your masculinity. You might have to take some back shots. That's all I can say.
If that's what it takes, that's what it takes.
Just get your missus to okay it first.
Yeah, we'll have a stag do.
Yeah. Look, that's good. But then that's not proving masculinity. That's just a stag do.
Stag do, you're correct.
Look, but we'll do it for content.
If you want to join our
Our
Patreon,
only video on OnlyFans will be us just taking turns on one another. Because I'm a generous lover. It's not all about me.
you're an easy lover. Bow,
Well, that as
bow.
well.
Yeah, I think you can
And if
see
you want,
our special episode on Patreon.
but genuinely, anyone listening, I would love to hear your thoughts on whether you think Patreon would be, because it's something we've talked about previously, maybe.
There's
And I've always felt uncomfortable
3
with it.
things I want to hear from you. And I'm going to list them now. 1,
Would you leave your dying wife?
that's actually very close to what I was going to say. 1, What would you put in the text to your dying wife if you're leaving her?
How would you break the news to
Just
her
write.
that you've liquidated all assets?
Go
and
to your
leaving?
emails, type it out as if you were typing it to her. Then in this to box, you write CrossingSwords19@gmail.com and then you hit send.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you don't send it to her.
And genuinely, even if any of our mates are listening, text us what you would do and we'll read it anonymously.
Equally, what I'm quite happy
I'd
for
love
you
to know what Dave would say.
What I'm quite happy for you to... Oh, I'd love to... Dave would say one thing. Mia is a different kettle of fish.
Yeah. Women, tell us what you'd say to your dying husband.
I'm quite happy for you to actually write that email to your wife and CC us in and just CC Crossing Swords
be a part of that.
19@gmail.com for the content. Look, you're already leaving this woman. You might as well give us some content on the back of it.
Yeah.
Her humiliation, I don't think, is going to be made greater by us being involved in it. I would say it's peak humiliation.
You brought up Jane Goody, so there's chances we make it worse.
You know what? I knew you were going to come back to that. 2, let us know either in the emails or you can go CrossingSwords_podcast on TikTok, CrossingSwords_podcast on Instagram, @SwordsCrossing on Twitter, Crossing Swords on Facebook.
Bang.
You can comment on any YouTube video, just type Crossing Swords podcast or the Crossing Swords on the name of the episode, or wherever you're listening to this, follow the link below. Subscribe, like, and then tell us in the comments, would you subscribe to a Patreon? How much would you pay for it? And then what would you like to see if we put up a paywall
What
and we
would you
gave
sort
her
of like in return?
We'd still be doing these episodes weekly. What would you then like to see behind that paywall for your money? And look, I appreciate most people, if they do write, they're going to tell us they want the dick holding.
Yeah, but outside of dick holding.
Outside of the dick, outside of the back
the
shots.
gayness goes without saying. We're going to do that. That will happen.
Outside of the back shots.
Yeah.
What else?
Don't know. All I can picture right now is me and you awkwardly Frenching in front of a camera.
That's my chat up line, by the way.
What, get stuffed?
Yeah. It's like a sort of a promise.
But yeah, what was the third thing? Was that the third thing?
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, cool. I was lost in
2 Patreon things and
yeah, get on it. Let us know what you think.
and a text to your dying
We'd
partner.
genuinely love to hear from you. Yeah, I really want to know. I think we're going to have to ask Dave what he would, and Mia, what they'd say to one another. If
Should we just put out a thing to just a bunch? We just do like a select bunch of our friends. Like we've got a couple of group chats going.
Yeah,
Should we just put it out and say, can you just compose a text to your
What you
dying
would say to
partner
your dying
and
wife.
how you would break it off?
Yeah. You're leaving her. The decision's made. There's no like.
Or him. You're leaving them.
Yeah. You're leaving your partner.
You're taking all the money from the joint account.
Things I think I know what Mia would say, but I don't want to say it for her. So
I don't even think. I think hers would be fucking brutal.
no, I think hers would be quite short and sweet because.
Yeah, she wouldn't waste the text space. I know that much.
I think she's got quite a good life insurance on Dave. So I think he is actually worth more to her dead than alive, like financially speaking.
Yeah, I'm leaving you, but I'm not divorcing you because I do still want that payout.
Yeah. I'm going to keep the life insurance.
Die sooner.
Yeah. But yeah, no, look, guys, thank you. If you've made it this far, as always, thank you very much. Like videos on every platform you can for us. Share them. Like, if you know someone who's got a sick sense of humour like us, send them a link to this episode because I think it's a good example of where we're at.
Yeah, boy.
And yeah, again, thank you for listening and we'll see you next week.
Yes, I just need to say one more thing because I don't
Do
want
it.
the last thing I need to be saying whatever I said before about death. So, see ya.
Bye.